once I got into it, I was like,
I went to Indianapolis when we did this.
Yeah.
And we spread about, well, we spread 4 yards of bark mulch yesterday. We're a little sore. Turns out we needed 8, but oh well.
Go get her.
Go across.
You know what that portal is called?
She would.
A bathroom.
It could be. It does seem to emanate from
She
the
would
bathroom.
dominate. She would start fighting Kia, and then it would just be an all-out wrestling match.
Yeah.
Right. I get it. I'm not saying that, but there's a corridor between the bathroom and our closet. I think
Where'd the name Kia come from?
The multiverse.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
We told Ellie we were going to IKEA.
I'm just glad the multiverse
Get
comes
a
back.
desk
That's
for their
my big thing. Because from what I've
And
seen
that's
in
how-
Doctor
you
Strange,
didn't know you were
get
gonna
a puppy.
I
And
don't
I
feel
love
bad.
so
You're
Matt
like, oh
Lee
no,
was
what
like,
happened
"Let's
to
name her
me?
IKEA."
You know,
And no one
file
said
missing person
IKEA.
report.
Why are we
We
eating
don't have to do
wax?
this.
Kind of
It
stuff.
would be pointless.
That is so
She
perfect.
was in the house.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
It's not the brand.
If only there was a timeline police of sorts.
Found it.
Found it.
Honey, I think we need one of those two.
Two? No.
Yeah.
No. Not in addition to
Rhoda needs a friend.
It
Then
can't
we
be
will
a dog.
bring her
I tried.
Tim to play with Rosie.
It's like,
Have Rosie come.
what are you doing?
You're like, no.
Yeah, right.
Coda
Well-
needs a tiny friend.
Willow decided to like
Just
grind her
let's see
face
you up in
into
a
some
costume,
sort of
there you go.
nasty
dog.
yesterday, which I
Just
called
flying dog.
mostly out. And then Mary's like, "You just calm it down." Oh shoot! I was like, I felt good about that. She's like, "You should get this back." She did. She did. She's very good. Well, everyone, hi, good morning. Perfect. Maybe it helps your heart open itself up to gratitude this morning. That's hard for some reason. Isn't hard awesome? The heart is hard for gratitude. Ellie, you're kind of closest to the camera. You can wave to whoever might be with us. We're going to take that around with us this morning, and so if anybody's online, they can be joining us that way. I mentioned to the group you'll want to have that handout pulled up on your phone, which came in the email this morning. So 3 times a year we're going to do this. This weekend, July 4th weekend, and then Labor Day weekend. We'll be in the park, but we won't be set up in the pavilion. We're going to walk around. How many of you did something like this with us last year? I think most of you were here for at least one of those. So it's a unique sort of gathering, church service. It's not actually that at all. It's really entering into this space maybe in a way that we might not normally, and allowing it to teach us. Teach us something, they pour forth speech. I think that's true of the trees too. This morning they speak to us if we're willing to pause and listen. And so that's what we're going to try and do. We're going to begin by actually just taking a walk. And we're going to walk across the park on a diagonal and get to Jefferson Street over there, and cross Jefferson, and stop right outside of the entrance to the little nature center over there. And we'll kind of have our first station, and then we'll do a couple of stops in the nature center, and then come back here for one more. All right? So let's head on over there. If you know the way, lead the way to the entrance. And
Alright, gotta get the camera.
take your time. No hurry. Awesome, Kevin. Thanks.
Make sure it's always on you. Follow Chris around, staring at him.
We can fold up those legs. That's easier. Whatever.
It's terribly heavy.
going to make our way in eventually, but. Oh, Josie, my goodness. That's...
Did you unmute it?
Does anyone want a paper copy? I did print a few of them, and I might as well pass them out.
I want one.
Does not want to be on that mailer. Does
No.
want a paper copy. Anyone else? Anyone else? I have two left.
Did you unmute?
I think I'm unmuted, yes. Okay. That's a teacher. No? Mary? Lauren? You're going to share it? Is that what's happening? You know, there's 2 pages, sorry. Yeah, you're going to.
We're good sharers.
You are good sharers, which is what I thought that's what your plan was. Totally. I think I'm unmuted. Yeah. I think that's good. All right, so let me read. At the top there is a little section from Psalm something of another. I didn't write the reference down here on my piece of paper.
96.
96. And then I just want to invite us to fill in the blank. You'll see that there's a blank line there at the end. So this is a chance to practice gratitude and Thanksgiving. And it could be for anything that you see or hear around here. It could be anything in your life. It could be anything in the world. We'll just kind of fill in the blank. So let me read this. Let the heavens be glad, and let the earth rejoice. Let the sea and everything in it shout God's praise. Let the fields and their crops burst forth with joy. Let the trees of the forest rustle with praise before the Lord. God, we thank you for. What would you fill in the blank?
Sunshine.
Sunshine.
The maple wingdings that twirl.
The maple wingdings that fall and are like little helicopters. Yeah. What? Is there another one? Puppy whimpers. Lindsay, how do you feel? Do you feel also gratitude for those? Yeah, not in the moment. Not in the moment. Lindsay and Matt are reconsidering, or at least Lindsay is reconsidering their decision to bring their sweet little puppy. We love it. We're happy. What else are you grateful for this morning?
Bird song.
Bird song. Yeah.
Birthdays.
Any birthdays that were celebrated recently?
Micah's was Thursday.
Awesome.
We celebrated last night
Fun.
and today and tomorrow.
He was up at Sleeping Dragoons with his class.
Oh, that's a sweet little class trip. Good.
End of the school year.
End of the school year. Teachers and students alike are happy about that. Coffee. Absolutely. Here. I love that sound.
Breeze in the leaves.
Anything else?
Just the green color.
The smell of spring.
Well, before we move into the forest here, as much of a forest as there can be in the city, and this is actually pretty good. I just want to invite you to kind of root both feet on the ground, listen to the puppy whimpers, sure, and the traffic, and whatever else there might be. But close your eyes, and just on your own, take 3 deep breaths and pay attention to what's in your body, what's going in your mind, in and out. What do you hear? What do you smell? one of the phrases Teresa introduced last summer at the park was these 3 lines. God is here. You are here. This is holy ground. So let's enter the woods with that in mind. All right? Follow me.
Hopefully that's not poison ivy.
I don't see trees.
Okay, good.
If you want, I want to invite you to get tactile this morning, although it will mean getting a little dirty. But I want to invite you to just grab a little bit of dirt and hold it in your hand. And what we're doing this morning, again, is we're using 3 different things that are common in creation as teachers to us. So come on, if you want, grab a little bit of dirt. No throwing at one another. I'll just set that ground rule. Yeah, I know. Whatever you want to call a little bit of
Ha ha.
What?
That's very punny.
The ground rule, and he didn't touch the punch. The ground rule.
Thank you. Only the really sophisticated.
I'm with you.
So I hear some folks saying, I don't really want to get dirty this morning, and yeah, that's kind of one of the things about dirt, isn't it? In fact, we get our word dirty from people, most people at one time, regularly being in the dirt, and dirt does what to your hands and to your clothes?
Makes some dirt.
Yeah, leaves a mark. And dirt, of course, is messy and smelly. And I don't know, maybe that smell fits you, but there's some dirt that I don't love the smell of. Because dirt has decay in it. It's a place of great decay. And not to be too morbid here, but death. I mean, this is what you hold in your hand. And so I want to invite us into a moment of naming the things in our lives and the things in this world that might be dirty, that might have left a mark this week, that might be messy, smelly. What's been hard this week? What's been painful? What's been difficult to hold in your life, in the life of someone you love, in the world? How does this dirt kind of ground us, pun intended and not intended, in that reality? And I know it's so tempting to want to just push away the pain or not talk about what's hard, but if we do that, we close off a part of ourselves, and we're not really whole. So, can we name some things this morning together as a community? Texas.
A neighbor and a cousin fighting cancer.
Anxiety.
Anxiety. Yep.
2 months since we lost someone special.
Anybody had a hard time at school in the last week or two? Yeah, at work? Yeah. Be nice maybe if we just took a walk today and never talked about the hard stuff, you know? And there are times to do that. But again, I think it's important on our own and as a community to name, you know, the things that are difficult and messy. What else is true about dirt, though?
Life.
Yeah, it brings life. Isn't that weird? I mean, again, this is like, it's just death and decay. Everywhere you walk, under your feet is death and dying. I mean, what's in this soil? What's that? Nutrients that come from, like, all the leaves that have died and all the poop that's been excreted. I mean, let's let nature teach us here, right? It's true. So there's something also happening here in the midst of this death and decay, and I think that's one of the things that we try and hold both and. Because it seems like the story of God is one in which that life somehow comes out of or is brought forth out of. And that's not to say that God brings difficulty into our life in order to somehow bring also restoration, but that death and dying, which are part of life, God meets us in those moments, and I don't know, something can happen. It does happen. This seems to be the pattern in creation. So, what do you have hope for this morning? What do we hope might spring out of the ground? Out of the dirt, out of the dust? Flowers. Yeah.
We're hoping for good news from a long-awaited, related to jobs. Super vague.
Super vague, that's all right. You only need to be as detailed as you want to be. Yeah. We're hoping for good news.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lindsay, we don't care. Yeah. Hoping for change, hoping for healing.
Mm-hmm.
So in your handout, there's a liturgy that we're going to read together, and then we'll move on. The one that starts with "Lest we think," and I'll read the non-bolded parts, and you can read the bolded parts. Sound good? Yep. Lest we think the blessing is not in the dirt.
Lest we think the blessing is not in the earth beneath our feet,
Lest we think the blessing is not in the dust.
like the dust that God scooped up at the beginning and formed and breathed into with God's own breath.
Lest we think the blessing is not in the spit.
Lest we think the blessing is not in the mud.
This is a reference to that time when Jesus spits in the dirt and puts it on the eyes of a blind man, and he goes and washes it off and he can see again. Lest we think the blessing is not in the mire, the grime, the muck.
Lest we think God cannot reach deep into the things of earth,
Cannot bring forth the blessing that shimmers within the sludge.
cannot anoint us with a tender and grimy grace.
lest we think that God will not use the ground to create us once again.
To cleanse us of our unseen, to open our eyes upon this ordinary and stunning world. Let it be so. Amen.
Let's move on down the path. We're going to kind of end on the other side of this trail. We'll maybe try to spend a little less time at the next station so the bugs are not nearly as bad. But let's make a walk here. It'll take a couple minutes, so enjoy it. Breathe deep. See what you notice.
Kevin, if I'm on a roller coaster, just
Up and down.
down, yeah.
Woo! Woo!
People look scary at me.
Teresa's never going to ask me to do this again.
People are vomiting. I got really sick watching the video.
Hey, it's little Blair Witch. That's it. That looks like poison ivy right there.
Where?
That is.
Dogs are okay. Just people.
Just needed to switch arms. Good to go. You guys got one more week of school?
1.5.
1.5?
For a week and exam.
Countdown is officially on.
You're excellent.
Pro skills.
Seriously. Yeah, when they opened this up, they had strong winds come through 6 years ago. They snapped up trees. Finally came to a clear this area last year, 2 years ago. And obviously, just changes everything. It's really quite wild. Well, at this spot, we're going to think about something that is always happening, and yet we probably don't think about it a ton. We do think about it. We're aware of it, certainly, but it's also so ubiquitous. It's so constant. It's so always present that it, I think, does move out of our awareness to an extent, and that's the changing of seasons. And we notice it on a hot day or a really cold day when there's a stark shift. But most days you probably don't think about it. And yet it's always happening. There's always, our Earth is always doing this, right? Slowly, slowly, slowly tilting back and forth and changing the angle of the sun and therefore changing the season. And again, it's so obvious and it's so ever present with us that we might not think about it a bunch. So I want to bring it to the forefront of our mind and just talk about each of the seasons for a brief moment. Like summer, what do you love about summer? What's true about summer? Even the most obvious things. What's summer like here where we live? What's summer like here in this space? Fire it out. Awesome.
Warm.
Warm. Thank you.
No more school.
No more school. I like it.
Long days,
Long
short
days.
nights.
Lots of light. Swimming. Swimming.
My birthday.
Love it. Good.
Mosquito bites.
Mosquito bites. Yes.
My birthday.
Good. What about autumn? What's true in this space? What's true in life, in the world, in autumn? Colors come. What else? Jumping in leaves. Yeah.
Raking the leaves so you can jump on
I
them.
see first the raking. Yes.
Lots
Yeah.
of yard work.
Lots of yard work. Yeah.
Football.
Football. There you go.
Cooler weather.
Weather. What are the animals doing? Campfires. Yeah. Yeah. What are the animals doing in autumn?
Storing up nuts.
Gathering, preparing to move. Yeah. Good. What about winter? What's true of winter?
Snow.
Sledding. Snow.
Shoveling.
Shoveling. Hot chocolate.
Biking.
Cold. Snow biking. Yes. Cold. Freezing cold. Bitterly cold. Yes.
Fairness.
A bareness. Yeah. Yeah. What are the animals doing in winter?
Gone. Hibernating.
They're either gone or they're
Sleeping.
hibernating. Yep. Yeah.
No bugs.
No bugs. Yep. They've all gone somewhere as well. And what about spring? Rebirth. Flowers.
Awesome.
Awesome. So we know what the favorite seasons are apparently. Yep. Good.
For summer.
That's right.
Garden.
Gardens.
Rain.
Yeah, lots of rain. Yeah. Yeah, good. So the in a time to harvest, a time to tear down and a time to dance. There are these ebbs and flows to our lives, these patterns, cyclical patterns. And maybe the changing of seasons has something to teach us or remind us about our own lives. So I want to ask just 3 questions here this morning. Very briefly after I ask them, there'll just be a pause for you to think about and consider what it means for you. And these are not questions that you have to answer out loud at all. This is just kind of for you to reflect on yourself here for a moment. But the first question is, what season are you in right now? We all go through winters. We all go through periods of rebirth. What season would you say, as you kind of just pause and take stock of your life, would you say that you're in right now? And it may be true that there are some parts of your life in one season and other parts of life that are in a different season, right? Yeah, what season are you in? Spring. So just checking in, I think a lot like we don't always pay attention to the seasons of the earth, we might not always pay attention to what season we are in. And it would be wise to probably have some awareness about where we are. What season are you in? And then the next question could be, what do you need in this season? From other people? What do you need from God? What do you need to be paying attention to? What do you need in this season that you're in? And what does it look like to trust God in this season? That might be a really hard question. Or a question that doesn't have a particularly clear answer. Or maybe you know what the answer is, but you don't like it. What does it look like to trust God, to trust that this season won't last forever, whether good or bad? How do we lean in wherever we are today? In your handout on your phone, on that piece of paper, is a little liturgy we'll use to close this time. Bless you. Everybody got it pulled up here? God of all seasons, God of all time, we come.
Each of us in a different place, moving through different seasons.
And yet each of us wise to pause, take a breath, so that we might remember your faithfulness in past seasons.
No matter where we find ourselves today,
Give us peace to know that it is okay to be where we are.
give us gratitude for those seasons in which joy and laughter come easily.
Give us perseverance to walk through those seasons of difficulty that never seem to end.
Give us trust to lean into your promises and care. You are with us always. Amen.
We have one more place that we're going to pause at, but we're going to walk all the way around out the nature center and back into the park. We'll pause in a pine grove over there. So enjoy the walk again. Enjoy the walk.
We can't just walk together. What do you think I'm gonna do? Something. Right. Keywords being so far.
Clarence, you ready for summer? Yeah. When is your birthday?
17th of June.
June 17. It's coming up, man. Is Calvin finishing 8th grade this year?
Yeah.
Holy cow, going to high school.
Ready or not,
Yeah.
here it comes.
Oh, sure he's ready. Whether or not mom and dad are, who knows, right? Are they at museum school too?
No, they're across with me.
Okay. Frost goes all the way to the end of high school?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yep, they have a middle and high school in the same building.
And you're teaching there too?
Yeah, I teach environmental science.
Oh, for some reason I thought you were you at museum school
I was
before?
at museum for 2 years.
Okay.
When we first moved here. Taught math and science there.
Gotcha.
Just off in a position we can go.
Cool.
Teaching over
Nice.
yeah, 4 years. Environmental science.
Fun.
Good, nice.
When it started at the...
Is it over on the west side?
Yeah, basically.
Like by Blandford or?
Yeah, we're not too far from Blandford.
Okay.
The elementary school is flooded up against Blandford,
Mm-hmm.
but our campus, the middle high school, is east of there, Oval by Leonard.
Okay.
Middle school's still there. Jefferson State, just south of Fort. longer. Wow, that's way more than I would have thought.
I think it's a deep class that has somewhere around there. So that's pretty big. They have struggled, I think, to balance this new school, which, you know, people, it has a lot of attention because it's new and it's shiny. So they have no problem getting students who come. So they want to certainly have classes as big as possible, but
Harder school than you were at the public?
no. There's
So you're zoned for that? Like that was your school? Or did you choose it?
question.
Because that's where like...
She's gonna tell you.
No, I'm just really curious.
You're being a little bit invasive. No. You're fine. You're fine. It's not.
Okay.
You do choose to go there.
Okay.
And I think Rhea had to do a lottery, as I recall. But then there is a thing called civil privilege.
Yep. When I...
There's like a
Another
Captain
one?
3.
Wait, are the other degrees coming in there a little bit? Like that family never ends. No, I remember my senior year was
Let's go over here.
one of my classes, like started the difference between like public, private, charter, like all the different things. It's still something because it was like schools like this have like not just that, but it's just a whole. Yeah, they are. They're playing right
Here
there.
is now one. So we're going to kind of see a little bit different. You see the hole is down here. And I'm not exactly sure why they
There are two people playing on the pole, so.
yeah, they are going that way. Then they are going to eventually move this back up. We're clear for a few minutes here. Especially with those guys. I don't know, but hopefully the bugs are a little less
I don't think so.
pestering here.
Quit choking your dog.
Who walked away with a mosquito bite? Who has a mosquito bite as a result of okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah. So next time
Thanks, Dad.
bring bug spray. Yep. Well, this is our last spot, and just check out this tree that we're kind of under here. Is this thing not the wildest? Yeah, Kevin, you gotta show these folks what is going on here. How old do you think this tree is?
1,000.
200, 800.
35.
150. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I would
48.
probably put around 150.
72. 100.
Brennan went to
That's why you wanted my chainsaw.
Yeah, you got your chainsaw, right? Let's find out. Don't worry, Parks Department, it's for all of us.
200,564.
Alright, we're done guessing. Guessing
Don't worry about
segment
it,
is
we'll
over.
clean it up for 6 months. So, we're actually not going to talk about this, although this is to me, this is just so cool. We're actually going to talk about all of this that's under our feet for a moment.
Leaves.
How far do a tree's roots go out? What's a general rule of thumb?
Ooh. 50 feet.
Oh, you're going to give me a link. I like it. Far, okay.
As much as they go up.
What's that?
Oh, there's
And as far out as it goes, that's a general. Would you say so? You're my kind of biology person here. Would you agree with that? This is what I've understood to be true. Is that so? I need you to fact check.
I will do that.
Thank you. what we're going to do for our purposes here today, I assume it depends on the tree today, but we're going to just kind of let things be a little gray and maybe unknown today. We're gonna go with that general rule of thumb and imagine that the roots of this tree are as wide as the branches reach out. And so what I need us to do is to make a circle that matches kind of the outer canopy of this tree. So find the farthest branches.
Right there.
This tree. Where are you headed, lady?
I got it, okay?
Fine. Yep. Then spread out a little bit so we can.
It's not really a rounded tree.
I know it's a weird tree. Yep.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yep.
Oh, now okay. I
was just looking at the branches and going where I see a branch, and I guess not that.
Again, we're working with rules of thumb here.
Clarence, I know.
So, that's what I've always understood. That as far as the branches go up, it also match that. Again, there's differences. So, kind of look at our circle, it's pretty big. I don't think it's hard to imagine that some of the roots of these other trees intersect the roots of this tree. Whether our circle's exactly right or not, would you agree?
Oh, I think we're exactly.
Okay, good, I'm glad. So, it's hard. What I want to talk about is how interconnected everything under our feet is. And even if the roots don't actually overlap, if our circle's not quite right and it's a lot smaller, what we know from research is that collections of trees, and it does depend on the species, but most collections of trees have fungal networks underneath in the soil that are connecting the trees to each other. And these small little, like, if you were to dig it up and try and find these fungal networks, you'd have a really hard time. They're so thin and small. But they send chemical signals through the soil to one another, and they'll alert one tree of something that's happening in another tree. Like, I just had a bunch of terrifying insects land on me, and it sends out a signal. And so the other trees know, oh, we need to implement our defenses. Or if one tree is maybe low on carbon dioxide, which is their food, trees actually can talk to each other and send that carbon dioxide, if one has enough, send it to one who doesn't. Is that not nuts?
It is nuts. I would say that's that dog.
It's nuts. It's amazing. I love it. I love it. So under our feet, like right now, there's a conversation going on. That's what I'm, I guess, saying. And perhaps the connectedness of these trees can help remind us of our connectedness. And that even if we may not think about it always, or in this American culture where we are constantly told that we are just an individual, maybe these trees can help remind us of what is actually true, that we're fundamentally reliant on each other. We need each other. So the next time you're walking by a group of trees, you can remember, oh yeah, they have something to teach me. They can help me remember what's true about who I am in relationship to other people. We're going to finish by reading that liturgy, which is based on 1 Corinthians 13. And so, yeah, you can come back in a little closer if you like, unless you want to stay on that.
Extend 2 to 3 times the radius of the canopy.
2 to 3 times the
So if the
radius
radius
of the
is
canopy.
10 feet,
Yep.
it extends out 30 feet around.
What? So oh, I love it. Thank you.
Who had
We
it
gotta
right?
back up then?
Who had it
We
right?
gotta back it up.
Who had it right?
You had it right.
Yeah.
You had it right. Well done. Yep. Good. Good.
She cannot help.
It's in her blood.
People happy about that answer.
I love it. Thank you. So, this is a long liturgy, but I think it's worth taking our time reading through here. And it's based on 1 Corinthians 13, which is, of course, you may know that passage. It's about love and blah, blah, blah. We read this passage right at weddings, and, you know, it's kind of like one of those that, yeah, I've heard this before. But I would just invite you to be open to hearing it anew and helping it again remind you of the connectedness that we have to each other. So, let's read this. No hurry, but let's let it be an encouragement to us and to our connectedness to each other. So, Lord, because love is patient,
Help me to be slow to judge, but quick to listen, hesitant to criticize, but eager to encourage, remembering your endless patience with me.
love is patient. Because love is kind,
Help my words to be gentle and my actions to be thoughtful. Teach me that the little acts of kindness are what actually change the world.
love is patient, love is kind. Because love does not envy or boast, and it is not proud.
Help me have a heart that is humble and sees the good in others. May I celebrate and appreciate all that I have and all that I am, as well as doing the same for those around me.
Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy or boast. Because love is not rude or self-seeking.
Help me to speak words that are easy on the ear and on the heart. When I'm tempted to get wrapped up in my own little world, remind me there's a great big world out there full of needs and hurts.
Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy or boast, it is not rude or self-seeking. And because love is not easily angered and keeps no record of wrongs.
Help me to forgive others as you have forgiven me. When I want to hold on to a grudge, gently help me release it, so I can reach out with a hand of love instead.
Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy or boast. Love is not rude or self-seeking, it is not easily angered and keeps no record of wrongs. Because love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth.
Help me stand up for what is right and good. May I defend the defenseless and help the helpless. Show me how I can make a difference.
Because love is patient, it is kind, it does not envy or boast, it is not rude or self-seeking. Love is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. It does not delight in evil, but rejoices in truth. Because love always protects and always trusts.
Help me to be a refuge for those around me. When the world outside is harsh and cold, may my heart be a place of acceptance and warmth.
Finally, because love always perseveres.
Help my heart continually beat with your love and others. Thank you for showing us what the word love really means. Amen.
Be those people this week, friends. Be people who are aware of the world around you, letting crazy trees and the shifting of seasons that we're in, and even the dirt, remind you of what is true and right and good and beautiful in this world. Go and be those people. Amen. We're all set. That's it. Feel free to stick around here in the Pine Grove or to make your way back to enjoy a dog for a while or whatever you might need.
Started a game of kickball if you
Got a
want to join it.
kickball game going on. Lots of good things. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Kevin, for doing that.
You bet.